Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you all my subscribers, according to where you're watching this video from. Today, as I promised you, the part 2 of the Airbus A320 cold and dark start, takeoff, descent and landing. Here it is. We are going to start from where we ended last time. Hold about 124 to 123 of nose-down elevator input until you reach 100 knots. This improves directional stability until the rudder becomes effective. Move the thrust levers to about 28% until both engines stabilize at the value of 50% N1. And then continue moving the thrust levers to the TOGA position to set the flexible takeoff thrust. When the airspeed passes, though our rotation speed, indicated by a small cyan circle on the airspeed tape, we can pitch up to lift off. Gently pull back on the stick with about 20% of nose up. Retract the landing gear when the vertical speed indicator indicates a positive rate. Maintain an airspeed of about V2 plus 20 knots. At about 1,000 feet above the runway, a white lever climb text will start flashing on the primary flight display, and at this point, the thrust should reduce for climb thrust. Slowly move back your throttle input until the flashing lever climb message disappears. Engage the autopilot by pressing the AP1 button. Let's have a look at our beautiful takeoff we have just made. Once the airspeed is above the green S speed, retract the flaps and slats and disarm the ground spoilers. Okay, now let's climb to our set altitude. I will get back to you once we reach 10,000 feet. Enjoy the flight. Pull the pressure setting knob on the EFIS control panel on the pilot side and co-pilot side to set STD pressure. Once we climb through 10,000 feet, we can now turn off the landing lights, nose light and seatbelt signs. The arrow you see now on the navigation display marks our cruising altitude, and once we reach it, the autopilot will stop climbing at the selected altitude. The primary flight display will now show in green, speed, alt cruise and nav. And that means we are now on our cruising altitude of 31,000 feet. Let's enjoy some views of the French Alps, and then we go for the descent. Okay, now, that white arrow you see on the navigation display marks the point at which the descent starts, which we call the top of descent point. For the upcoming descent, we have to select a lower altitude for the autopilot. And to know which altitude to set, you will come to the MCDU, go to Flight Plan, and check the lowest altitude that is near the destination airport. For our case, that is 3,000 feet at Timber. Once we reach here, the plane will tell you to decelerate, and this point we will set our 3,000 feet for the plane to start the descent. When we descend through 10,000 feet, we need to slow below 250 knots, but the autopilot got us covered for that in managed speed mode. Set the landing lights on and the seatbelt signs. Push the pressure setting knob on the EFIS control panel on the pilot side and co-pilot side to set QNH pressure. Okay, here I will select the LS button, followed by the approach button for the plane to capture the localizer and the glide slope. For flaps, you will select it following the indicated speeds here. Now I will select flaps 1. When the airspeed matches the S speed here, we are slow enough for the next flap setting. Now I will select flaps 2 to slow down to F speed. When the glide slope diamond moves towards the center of the scale, the autopilot will capture it because we armed the approach earlier. Now is a good time to select the gear down and help us decrease the speed further and get it to the F flap retraction speed in case of go-around. When the airspeed drops to the F speed, we can select the flaps from 2 to 3. And from 3 to flaps full. Now leave the aircraft to slope until you feel like it's safe to take over and land it manually. Okay, I will take over from here. Now you can also arm your ground spoilers and set your auto brakes to medium. I will start the flare at about 30 feet above the runway and will try to touch down gently. At the retard call-out, I will reduce the throttle to idle, and on the touchdown, I will pull the reversers to reduce the speed after landing. See you there.
400. $300. 100 above. Minimum.
Glide slope.
50, 40, 30, 20. Retard. 10. 5.
Let's see how our landing was in the replay. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe if the video helps you. If I missed anything in this video, please put it down there in the comment section. Comment down below the next route I should fly with the Boeing 777-300ER. Thanks for watching Ryg-aviationz. See you soon. Choose.